Right, hello. I think we're live. Looks that way. Crikey. Hello, everybody. Hello, Ray from Northeast Mississippi. Jimbo, hi there. Stand by your beds, folks. Hello, VA3FUC. Yeah, thanks for the comments earlier as well, guiding people to the Zello. Yes, mate, live. Yeah, we're all live. Just go back through some of these comments. Hello, Kevin. No frequency tonight. Yeah. So basically, the plan is we're just going to focus on the parks on the air, the UK element of parks on the air, and to do that, we're going to do like a Zello check-in, and just get people to drop in, say hello on Zello, and then we'll put a pause to that, and then Andy will join us, and Andy, who's the UK coordinator, G1AW, he's going to give us just a little bit of an overview of what Parks of the Air is, where it's going, and then there's going to be a few questions that I've received on my YouTube channel, as well as elsewhere, that I'm going to get Andy to answer. Thought it was best to answer all these questions in one live stream rather than try and keep answering the same question on the different comments throughout the videos. So that's the plan. I'm just trying to keep an eye on the comments. Cheers, Billy. Hi, Dan. Hello, NW7JLM. G4OKT. Fantastic. There is something I just want to talk about for a minute. Already we've had a couple of comments regarding the COVID-19. I just want to lay some ground rules on that before we talk any further. If I just press a button here, let me just remove that a second, and let me remove that. If anybody wants to talk about COVID-19, if you're in the UK or even in the US, I guess, I'm always going to point you towards the government information. What I don't want to do is for us to start talking about things that are not covered by your chief medical officer. So I'm happy to talk about it. I'm happy for us to talk about it, but I'll always point towards your own country's CMO, towards their healthcare advice. So that's I just want to just clear that for the moment, because I think it's important for us to be aware of. Let me get my comments back. Hi, Terry. Jimbo, Northern Dawn, bad activity seems to be better tonight. Hi, Dave. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get Zello up and running, and then we're going to just get if you can just can't find you on Zello. Okay, let me just show you something. If I go to left screen, let's get my Zello up. If you've downloaded Zello, which is this thing here, if you go to tools and add a channel, you can search for a channel there. Hi, Martin. So you can search for Potteries Amateur Radio Club, Potteries Amateur Radio Club Zello, and we should be there. That's the plan. Let me just see if we can get anybody. Okay, we've got somebody checking in already. Okay, so yeah, if you want to just check in on Zello, just say hello, and we'll just get a few of us to join on Zello, and then I'll bring Andy in to talk about the POTA UK. So we've already got. Let me just find my button. G0SMD. Good evening. Okay, if you want to join us on Zello, just call in now. Well, G0SN. Yeah, we've got Dave BGLOS. Hello there. Zello's not a subscription, no, it's free to use. You don't have to be a licensed operator to join Zello. Okay, Gary Swift is joining us.
M0ONI.
Yep, hello Gary. I didn't quite catch your call sign then.
0ONI.
G0ONI. Yeah. Oh, sorry, doubled over them. Yep, okay, cheers. Yep. Who else wants to join us on Zello? Might take a few minutes for us to get organised. Okay, just need to check your audio, guys. You can go into the settings and alter the audio. There's also an echo test in Zello, so if you want to join us on Zello. I'm not sure what's going on there with G0SMD. Yeah, M0IUR. Good evening.
Not sure if my call sign came in first time. Call sign VA3FUC. Name is Ron.
Yeah, hi there, Ron. Good to get you on again. You've been we've had a few chats already. Good to hear your voice tonight.
M7ANI on Zello.
Hello there. Yeah, good to hear your voice. Another familiar voice. Thanks for joining us tonight. Let's have a look at the comments while we're just getting people checking in. Yeah, if you click download, set up Zello, don't forget to check your audio levels. You've got an echo test to make sure that you can hear and you can talk. It's a VoIP system. It allows people, whether they've got a license or not, to actually engage in a push to talk, sort of radio type conversations. Hello Daniel, hello Steve, hello Martin. Watching with a 6-year-old boy. Say hello to Joshua. Hello Joshua. Brilliant. That's dead good. So everybody on your best behaviour. Hi from Northern Ireland. Passed my foundation yesterday. Going to get my call sign next week, hopefully, from Dirty Harry. Great film. Can't get Zello to work. Okay. I'm not sure if we can do anything about that at the moment.
Good evening. This is MW7GLM.
Yep. Good evening, NW7. I think it was JLM. Good to get you on the net. Only got Echolink. Yes, we will try Echolink. We've tried Echolink a little bit yesterday. Me and Andy did, but we weren't 100% confident with the ability to hold a conference. But Echolink is on the radar. Hello, Chris from sunny Cumbria.
Hi, Carl, it's Andy. I'm not sure, but I think I've got a problem at my end. It would appear that I'm not hearing the people come through on Zello, but I can hear them come through on the audio stream.
Okay, mate. Yeah, what you need to do is if you go into might be tools settings, just check the output, the audio output, to make sure you've got it to the right sound card output. JLM. Cheers, mate. Yeah. We're just waiting for Andy just sort himself out. I think we can muddle through anyway, because if you can hear it through the live stream, but it'd be a delay with Andy because the live stream is much slower than the Zello. So we're just going to. Is there any more that wants to check in on Zello? Please help yourself. It says my monthly something has exceeded. My monthly something has exceeded. I don't know. M0RUR. Jimbo, I don't know what that monthly something is with Zello. It's a free account unless you have been, unless you've been set up for Zello Work, which is a premium account that might have credits involved in that. I'm not sure. Greetings from Vancouver, VA7BC. Hello there. Could be data use, yeah. It's a 5-second delay. Okay. Hi Andy, just checking if you can hear me.
Yeah, Carl. Yeah, I can hear you in Zello now. A lot of the users that are in the Zello thing are saying not in list to me.
Okay, this needs to turn this audio up a little bit. Okay, Andy. Yeah, I'm just trying to get the audio levels a bit higher. If you just give me another over, I'll just try and adjust things my end.
Okay, Carl. Golf 1 Alpha Whiskey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Audio test. Audio test.
Okay, yeah, just give me a second. I was going to bring the Zello levels up, and then we'll get you to talk a little bit about POTA UK, and I've got a few questions to ask as well. So just give me a second. I'm just going to adjust this audio. Right, so...
Hey guys, are you able to copy me? I had to sign in and verify my email. This is my first time on Zello.
Yep, W5TAH, yep, lovely to have you involved in Zello. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm located in Oklahoma here in the U.S. And I've used the other push-to-talk app, but Zello seemed to always give me trouble. Now I figured it out, so thank you for confirming you can hear me.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, no, really good audio. Nice rounded audio there. Zello is one of the... it does provide nice VoIP capability, nice rounded audio, so it's always advisable if you first set up Zello just to use the Echo channel to get your audio in and out sorted. But You've done a cracking job there. Right, okay. Just check the comments. Cool, the Proto admin is online. Okay. Okay, Andy G1AW. I'm just checking that your audio is going to be okay.
Okay, Carl. Okay, Golf 1 Alpha Whiskey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, test.
Okay, just nudge you up a little bit more. Right, okay. Just nudge you up a little bit. Okay, Andy, if you want to just give us your elevator pitch for POTA UK. For anybody that's actually watching now or later on who are very new to POTA, we'll talk, just give us a little bit about POTA UK, and then we can have a chat and draw out some more information. I've got some questions that I've been asked a few times, so if you want to just to talk through Zello, and it will come through the live stream as well, a little bit about what POTA UK and the POTA is in general.
Okay, Carl. Well, first of all, good evening, everybody that's listening in. Hope you're having a good evening. Well, my name's Andy Wragg, and I'm the UK coordinator and G region administrator for the Parks on the Air scheme. So what that involves is basically me looking after the lists and basically acting as point man for Parks on the Air in this part of the world. So Parks on the Air is basically a radio awards scheme. So you can either participate as an activator to go out portable into the parks and do the activation, or you can be a hunter if you're not able to travel, for instance, and you can sit at home and actively chase down the activators. It's very, very similar to other sort of radio award schemes like Summits on the Air, etc. There are certificates that you can get for various achievements. And it's been active in the UK now, starting with England, since June of last year. And what I'm seeing now is obviously with Carl doing his video with me, the interview the other week and what have you. What I'm seeing is that the membership is starting to really bloom. Like last year, it was just myself. I introduced it into the United Kingdom because I wanted to participate in an award scheme that was accessible. Anybody that knows me personally understands that I'm suffering a little bit at the minute with bad ankles, so I can't go traipsing about up the mountains and doing summits on the air. And Parks on the Air is really, really accessible. Okay, Carl, I think that's about it for now. I'll pass it back to you, and then you can start the Q&A.
Yep, cheers, Andy. Yeah, I've had one or two people mention that when they first go and look at the Parks on the Air website, which is parksontheair.com, it does feel like it is dominated a bit more by the US stations at the moment. That's because it first rolled out across the US, but we are starting to see, especially in the scheduling in the spots section of the Parks on the Air, there's more UK based operators, so we are seeing the parksontheair.com site changing. There's a Parks on the Air Facebook group, but you've just set up a Parks on the Air UK group, is that right?
Yeah, that's right, Carl. So Parks on the Air originally began with the ARRL running a year-long event over in the US, which was National Parks on the Air, which was so popular that the guys didn't want to see it finish at the end of that year. So what they did, they basically took a list of parks and recreational areas and conservation areas on another screen, and basically made that their own, embellished it somewhat, and then obviously, and there I am on the screen, and then they start to go forward with that. So I can definitely appreciate people's feelings around the website being predominantly US focused, because that's where it all started. And as more and more geographical territories roll into Parks on the Air, then obviously there will be more influence from elsewhere. Obviously this is still early days for the UK. I mean, the membership now is somewhere around 100 and growing every day, but it's still very early days. I mean, the enthusiasm for POTA in North America is phenomenal. It was, well, I mean, you only got to look at the Facebook group. It's a really big community of operators, but there was such a demand for people over here, or from people over here, for me to create a new Facebook page just for us, that I went ahead and did it. But now it's there, obviously it needs to be used, because one of the things I didn't want to happen was obviously set the page up and it to sit there with maybe me and you and a few others contributing to it. But at the moment it's looking good. Obviously Jason, MW7, he's taken on the Welsh territory, and he's storming ahead. He's even activating parks in the UK, in England. He's getting over the border, he's having his shots, and he's coming into England, and he's activating parks in England as well. So Wales was an introduction just before Christmas, and already we're seeing quite a big uptake in that. So, and I thank Jason for getting stuck in and leading the charge. I think he's doing an outstanding job down there. Anyway, I'll pass it back to you, and obviously you can carry on the discussion.
Yeah, cheers there, Andy. I've just noticed that and the comments, Belgium is coming online soon, Greece is online already, and the Netherlands also. So we're starting to see a number of the European stations coming on board, and that would be great for chasers as well, because a lot of the propagation at the moment from the UK is mostly European based. So it's good to see that we've got a lot of Europeans waking up to Parks on the Air as well there, Andy.
Yeah, it's really encouraging, and at the moment I'll be able to pass on that we've got a guy up in Scotland that's got the Scotland list, and he's almost got it to the stage where the list can be uploaded. Just to let people know, the actual work that goes into creating the list and populating the information into the database is very time consuming. And basically I inherited a list of about 350 parks, which was basically just a park reference, a park name and a park type. And from that, what I've had to do in my own time, completely unpaid, is basically add lat and long information for the mapping scheme, add county information as well, so that we can now start to issue awards based on like Worked All South Yorkshire for the Flat Cap and Whippet Award, let's say. But yeah, so there's a lot of work goes into the creation of these lists, and it's all done in everybody's spare time, and it's completely voluntary. So I get a lot of sort of questions from people asking me about logs that they submitted about a week ago and they haven't heard anything. it's not uncommon to have to wait a while for your logs to be uploaded into the system. I mean, just remember, these guys are not only dealing with you, they're dealing with, like, you know, potentially hundreds of people of a weekend, you know, all sending the logs in, and they have to do that in the spare time whilst they're managing family commitments, work commitments, whatever.
Yeah.
So everything is voluntary, so please bear that in mind when you are starting to feel a little bit annoyed about not having your log information and your stats available the day after you get your login. Back to you, Carl.
Yeah, cheers there, Andy. Yeah, and the last thing they want, I set my first logs in and completely fudged them up. So one piece of advice from personal experiences, there's actually a pretty handy guide that tells you how to format your logs, which I didn't read. So please don't be like me and actually read those. I mean, Andy, just tell us where to find that guide to how to submit your logs, because it's not for the faint-hearted, because you do have to learn a little bit about formatting. But can you just give us a little bit of information about formatting the logs for idiots like me?
Okay, right, Carl. So in terms of login, there's a really good video on YouTube from a guy called Vance, who's the database administrator. And if you simply type POTA logging into the YouTube search bar, you'll probably get his video at the top of the list. So go and watch that. It'll tell you what fields you need to record as a requirement, and any others you may wish to include as an optional extra, and how to format your logs, how to submit your logs, who to submit them to. If you log into the POTA website, and once you've actually logged into there, if you go up to the top right-hand drop-down menu where your call sign is, you'll see that in that list is the email address for the person that you should send your logs to, and that list is based on the numeral in your call sign. So for yourself, Carl, because you're a 2E0, they discount the 2 and it's on the 0. So you would submit your logs to the email address k0@partsontheair.com.
Okay.
And I happen to know that is Jim Thorney. He's a lovely chap, really helpful, and he'll do what he can, but bear in mind that he's obviously got any number of news sending him logs that are faulty. So just try and get them right first time. So the easiest thing to do is to watch that video.
Yeah.
And then obviously that will arm you with the knowledge on how to submit your logs. If you're interested in what logging software to use, if you use a laptop like I do, when I go portable, I use the AC log from N3JFP, I think is the call sign. It costs about 18 quid to buy. I think it's about $24, but it's fully customizable, and it's customizable in such a way that you only see what you need to log for POTA. So if you follow Matt here on YouTube, he's got an outstanding video on that logging software and how to customize it for POTA. So in this case, you're on YouTube now. YouTube is your friend. Search around YouTube, find these videos, watch these videos, and then obviously you'll be forearmed with the knowledge and the skills to get your logs produced efficiently and effectively, and you can get them to the people with the least amount of hassle.
Yeah, cheers, Andy. We've got a chap on the comments, Martin Moorman. Assume I am allowed to enter the logs for the Netherlands. We can also assist the UK also. So I guess what will happen eventually, when more volunteers join the scheme, there'll be more people to handle the logs, so there won't be so much of a bottleneck with the processing the logs. I'm assuming that's right, is it, Andy?
Well, That's news to me, to be fair. I mean, when I
You heard
first
it here
got
first.
involved, I was very keen, wanted to be as helpful as I could. I did offer my services as a log processor, but I think they, at the time, it was very much a case of, well, let's just give this guy enough to keep him going.
Yeah.
I would think, given time, if there's enough demand in the UK, we will probably get the ability to submit our own logs.
Yeah.
But as I say, it's still early days.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been running for less than a year in the UK. The membership, as I say, was around 100, but it is going up all the time, and it's quite difficult for me to get real-time stats on the membership list. So, because it basically involves the guy that do the database giving me a database export. I don't really have the tools to do that instantaneously, which is something I should request really, because it would be a really nice to have for the other sort of entity administrators, just to see who they've got on the ranks. So, submitting logs at the minute for the UK is done through the US, and it's based on the numeral in your call sign. So that's about it for. But I'll have a chat with Martin, and we'll see what we can achieve between us. Okay.
Yep. That's what Martin says. Martin says for you to chat to each other. So hopefully that'll open up some new opportunities there. I've got a couple of questions off the comments, and I've got some previous questions from previous videos. So we've got a M6AFZ asked about there's a park near them that they want to activate. How do they go about adding a park to the database?
Okay, so for a park to be eligible for admission to the system, it has to be run by either a national or a regional body. So if it's your local park down the road with a couple of swings and a set of goalposts, it's probably not eligible. This is basically because there are so many parks in the US that they've sort of like stipulated the rules for their scheme as being national and state-run parks. Obviously, with the other territories, the other countries administer their parks in different ways. So, I mean, for instance, one of the biggest parks in Sheffield, which is Graves Park, is obviously a local council park. It's run by the local council, and at the moment, it's ineligible for admission to the scheme. But that park's huge. I mean, it's massive. I'm hoping at one point down the line, when we've sort of taken a fair bite out of the list of 506, I believe, at the current time. There's 506 park references in England at the minute. There's over 100 in Wales, and there'll be close to 200 in Scotland when they come along. I'm hoping that once we've made a dent in those numbers, that we can start looking at including some of the larger municipal parks in the towns and cities. But at the moment, if it's just a green space in your local area, it's unlikely to be added to the list.
Okay, cheers, mate. We also had a question from Alan Taylor. So when you activate a park, do you have to go to the exact lat long reference, or just within the confines of the park? So it's a very good question. I think we've spoken about this together around the boundaries. How do we know what the boundaries are for the park?
Okay, well that's quite easy. Basically, it's anywhere within the park boundary. Your whole station, that's you, your radio and your antenna system, needs to be within the boundary of the park. Now, you can be anywhere within that boundary as long as your station is within it. So for somewhere like the Peak District, for instance, which is massive, we could set up at the place where I did my first activation, which is a place called Ringing Low, or we could set up where you like to go and operate at the top of Merryton Low, anywhere in that massive boundary. And really, you need to be looking at things like Ordnance Survey maps, Google Maps. For some of the smaller wildlife areas, you need to be looking at there's a website called Designated Sites, which basically records the information for all of the conservation areas that are in the database. And within that website, there's links to the Magic website, which is a map, which has got all the sort of like the geographical information in for all the conservation areas. So using a combination of those things, you can determine the boundary of where you want to go. And then obviously it's a case of doing a bit of a map recce or a Google Maps photo recce to determine where might be the best place to operate from. It could be that access within the park itself is fairly restricted to vehicles, so you might want to just set up in the car park if you've got reasonable takeoff, or if you're able to go out on foot. It may be that you drive to the car park, but once you're in the park, you can take a little walk up to the top of a little hill, set up your station there. It's really anywhere within the park boundary where you have public right of way. Obviously, people live within national parks, so you're not going to be setting up on somebody's lawn in the town of Windermere. So it's apply a little bit of common sense. Don't be silly with it, and anywhere within the park is fine.
Okay, cheers, mate. I think we've just got one more question off the comments. Then I've got one or two from previous emails, and then we'll open it up on Zello in case anybody on Zello wants to ask any something in person. So Terry G7 WRS has asked, are there any power limits that you have with POTA?
Right, in terms of frequencies and power levels, etc., whatever your license grants you, you can only operate within the framework of your license. So as an M6 or an M7 or an M3, for instance, foundation, you can only operate 10 watts. But it doesn't matter what you use. I mean, obviously, there's certain bands as a foundation user that you can't operate in, but whatever your license allows you access to, it's fair play to use it. Now, obviously, depending on the time of day, where you're working, and the environment that you're in, that will maybe have some steer on which frequencies you use, which bands you use, and which equipment. But typically speaking, anything that's on your license you can use. So if you feel like it, if you're a full license holder, you can go in a park with 400 watts in your radio and start banging out.
Right, cheers, mate. So I had a question the other day, or comment on one of the videos. Someone was asking about what does activation mean? Is activation done just once for a park, or is it per station or per individual? That's not such a clear question, but what is an activation?
Okay, so to activate a park, all you need is 10 confirmed QSOs in your log for that location within the calendar day, which is essentially 0000 GMT through to 23:59 GMT. 10 QSOs is all you need. That's an activation, so you can use any mode, any band. So you might do 3 contacts on 2 meters FM, 3 contacts on 2 meters SSB, and then 4 contacts on SSB on 20 meters. That will be your 10. That will be an activation. Okay. Once the park has been activated, then the person in the park doing the activation then submits the log. The hunters, if you're at home working people in parks, you don't need to send your logs in because it's all based on the activator's log. And if you register on the POTA website and your role is purely hunting, then you'll get the credit. It will appear in your stats whenever one of the activators who has worked you on an activation submits their logs and that's processed. So I hope that makes that clear. And one other thing is you can actually work, you can do more than one activation a day so long as it's in a different park, or you can activate the same park from multiple locations.
Okay, so when that last point about activating the park from multiple locations, you could get 3 from location A, 3 from location B, and then blah, 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 4. I guess my maths there from location C, but all within the park boundary.
No, so the way that the multi-location parks work, and I've only just found this out recently, having spent a couple of weeks sorting all this information out. So the Peak District, for instance, has 7 different counties located within its border. So to get all of the Peak District activated, you need to have 10 QSOs in each county. But you don't need to activate them all to get a credit for the park. So you could just stick 10 in from Derbyshire, and then on another day you could do 10 from Staffordshire, and then another day you could do 10 from Cheshire, etc., etc. So I hope that clears that up. Or you could be really brave and try and do 10 in, 10 from each one in a day. But that's really pushing it.
Oh, okay. Well, there is actually a place in the Peak District where the 3 counties meet, Derbyshire, Cheshire and Staffordshire, and it's got a nice little a stone fence pen that you can operate within, and that's just in that cross between the 3 counties. So you could, if the wind was in the right direction, you could get 10 in each with only moving about 5 meters.
Yeah, well, that's certainly an option. But what you must do is your station must be obviously within that bit of the county at the time that you're doing the activation. And in a similar vein, I mean, obviously I've mentioned in the previous video about the POTA weekend that we've got planned for the 20th and 21st of June. I really do hope that's still possible given the current situation, but we'll put that to one side. The place that I intend to go is essentially the Tan Hill Inn in North Yorkshire. Now, the Tan Hill Inn, for those that don't know, is the highest public house in the realm. And if anybody's got a good memory, there used to be a guy advertising double glazing on the telly when I was a kid. And the place where that advert was filmed is the Tan Hill Inn. So the Tan Hill Inn essentially sits on the border of the Yorkshire Dales National Park and the North Pennines area of outstanding natural beauty. So one side of the road is the Yorkshire Dales, the other side of the road is the area of outstanding natural beauty. So my plan is to go up there on the Saturday morning early, set up on one side of the road, work some radio, get some contacts in the log. I'm not saying I'm not going to drink some beer, and then on the next day I'm going to be on the other side of the road, and we'll do the other part. And obviously I will have to drive home, so there'll be no beer that day. But I think I'll probably had enough of the beer the night before. So I hope that clears that up.
Yeah, cheers, Andy. I really want to remember. I'm sorry, you've just mentioned about that double glazing advert, and I've just started to. I need to know what the guy's name was. Was it Ronson? No. Who was the guy who was banging on the window and that advert? Can somebody please put me out of my misery?
Ted Molt.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. I wouldn't be able to sleep tonight if you hadn't told me that. Okay. The other question that I did get was one of my friends off Twitter, Mick. We've covered most of this anyway, right? But are activations alerted anywhere? So this is about how do we know who's activated what and when?
Is that in general or on any specific date?
Oh, I don't know. It's a bit like swallows and carrying coconuts, but I think it might be if I was going to switch the radio on and wanted to see what was happening for Parks on the Air, how do I find out?
Right, so in terms of real-time activity, basically there is, if you go to POTA.us, that will take you to the landing page, and on that landing page is the spot tool for a start, and also the scheduler. So what the spot tool does is it allows either you as an activator, if you've got some means of contacting the website while you're at Portable, or somebody that you're talking to, it allows you to actually get real-time information on who is where and when, and what frequencies are in use, and how long they're planning on staying. There's also the facility to pre-schedule your activation. So good point. Yeah, schedule as an alert function.
Yeah.
And so basically, you can, if you know where you're going to be on a couple of days in advance, you can put a schedule notice out to say, on this day at this time, I'm going to be here on this band, and then when you get there, obviously then you can self-spot to say, right, I'm actually here, I'm on this frequency, of this mode, blah 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 blah. And people have a real-time indication of where you are, what you're doing, and all that's good. So, oh dear, stop talking about swallows. So, I've lost my train of thought now. Oh yeah. So scheduling. So that's one way of doing it. The other way is you can do it through Twitter. The other way is you can do it on the Facebook groups, so you can post up on the Facebook groups. And the other way you can do it is to join Slack, which, for anybody that's not familiar with Slack is a collaboration tool, which it basically combines sort of like messenger functionality with a bit of collaboration. And if you subscribe to the alerts from Slack, anything that's logged on the website also gets published through Slack, so you'll get that notification. Personally, I haven't subscribed to that notification because I just get mail bombed, but each to his own. I've just seen a comment come through on Scottish POTA.
Yeah.
Scotland is being worked on and should be ready in a couple of weeks. That's all I can really say. It's not me that's doing it. So I hope that covers the sort of like the real-time activity view of what's being activated. Oh, and the other thing is, if you go to the stats pages, You can also look at what parts have been activated, attempted to be activated, how many times they've been activated, etc., by looking at the stats for a particular country.
Okay.
And you can actually sort the list of parks by the activation field. So that's an indication of what parks have already been worked, etc. I hope that helps.
That's brilliant, mate. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so if anybody on Zello wants to ask a question, yeah, we've got about 10 minutes, so if anyone wants to join us on Zello and ask a question to Andy.
Hi Andy, can you go back through the designated sites part again? Because I've just had a look for my county, Gloucestershire, and there's hundreds of parks, but none of those actually appear on the POTA website.
Right. Sorry, I didn't quite catch who was talking then, but yeah, the designated sites page is really there for all the conservation areas. Typically what you'll find in the POTA website is national nature reserves, sites of significant scientific interest, sites of significant scientific interest, SSSIs. You'll find what else is there? Special conservation areas, and some other stuff. Off the top of my head, I can't remember them all, but those are the classifications that are currently in the POTA database. If there are others that I'm not aware of, then we may be able to include them in the far future. But for the time being, obviously with 506 parks to go at, and only a fraction of those activated at this time, then I'm going to struggle to justify adding more. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, thanks Andy. It was Dave Beard, 2E0 UDB. Yeah, I'll go and have another look at the POTA website. I must be missing something, thanks.
Okay, no worries.
Okay, yeah. Anybody else on Zello want to ask Andy any questions while we're here? Okay, yeah, nothing for the moment. Just going to quickly show you Radio Dog. Somebody asked earlier. I don't know if you can see Radio Dog. She's there. Say hello, Betsy. Hello. There you go. That's Radio Dog. Right, cheers, Andy. Well, that was fantastic. Thank you very much. Hopefully, we've answered a number of questions here. People can replay them through the repeat function on the video. I want to thank everybody on the comments as well. Some great comments, some people helping each other out, and thanks to everybody on Zello who's joined us tonight as well. So I think we've done okay between us all. Hand it back to you, Andy, for help me to wrap up, and then we'll close the live stream down.
Okay, Carl. Well, first of all, thanks for bringing me into this. I'm always up for a bit of, to use a word, evangelising of parts on the air. I know I don't get out as much as I should, but I'm just a facilitator. It's really up to people to go out and get it done. Yeah, if anybody's got any questions that haven't been covered tonight, I'm on qaz.com. My email address is there, so drop me an email, and you should get a response within 24 hours. And yeah, I'd encourage anybody to get out and go do it, because activity creates activity. You know, it's you know, it's just one of those things. People sit at home and spin the dial and don't really hear a lot. But if you go out there and generate some activity, people will respond to you. And it's a great feeling when you spark up your first pile up at the top of a hill. So I encourage everybody to get out there and do it. So yeah, thanks again, Carl. And anytime you want me to do this again, just let me know.
Yep. Cheers, Andy. Yeah, I think we will do it again. We may even try Echolink and try a hand at setting up a conference for the occasional update, occasional POTA net or something. But me and you can test that technology out. So thank you, Andy. I want to say thank you to everybody on the live stream. And yeah, if you've got any questions, contact Andy or go to the Facebook groups as well. So yeah, thank you everybody, and I look forward to the next video. So time to shut down and bid you all a good night.